Are you ready to take your business to the next level and make the money you want so that you can create the impact you desire? Then you're in the right place. It's possible to run a successful business built around your life. Get ready for a little bit of tough love and a whole lot of strategy to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. If you're ready to get out of your own way and step into the role of CEO, then let's go. I'm Amy Traw, and this is the Motivated CEO Podcast. Welcome back into the Motivated CEO Podcast. Today, we're talking with Danya all about money mindset. And money mindset is something I've personally really had to work through in order to get to the next level of my business. So I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with her today, just because this is a conversation we all need to hear. Money mindset is something that holds so many of us back and we don't even realize it. So if you don't know, you don't know. But today we're going to make you aware so that you can take steps to change it. So with that being said, Danya, welcome into the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I just love starting these podcasts by finding it so interesting how you meet people, right?
Yeah.
Like through events, through other communities, and you just find your like-minded people and say, hey, come on my podcast, do this. So it's fun because we live in different parts of the world and here we are connecting, serving, helping people all over the world. And it's just fun. So thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes, I agree. It's so serendipitous, like how the world works and just getting in different rooms, connecting and collaborating with like-minded individuals. Like your people are out there. It's just a matter of like raising your hand and being like, okay, hey, I'm here too. And
Totally.
yes, we do
Yeah,
exist out there. So, if you're listening to this podcast, like please get into our worlds, drop into our DMs and say hello because that
totally.
means the world to us. So,
Yeah.
before we dive into all things money mindset, tell us more about you, who you are, what you do, and who you serve.
How long do I have? I'm just joking. I always make that
Right?
joke because I go on tangents, so pull me in if I go. I know we're being mindful of time, but yeah, I'm a former Olympic athletic therapist and strength coach. So I used to work with Olympic athletes and high performance, and I transitioned to focus solely on mental performance and nervous system regulation for entrepreneurs. I became so fascinated with subconscious programming and healing and triggers and everything that really actually drives what we do, which is our mind. And the fun parallel is with Olympic athletes too. What I was doing with them was physical autonomy. So injuries, performance, physical stuff. But the mind drives everything in your training, when you have an injury, overcoming a fear of getting back on the field after surgery. So I've been doing this mindset, nervous system regulation for a long, long time. I just didn't know it was called this until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And then from that, I switched into coaching entrepreneurs, which are fun because they're the same as Olympic athletes, high achievers, dealing with stress and pressure, pushing their limits, their comfort zone expanding. And I learned personally as well, and then working with hundreds of clients, that if you don't regulate your subconscious mind or your nervous system to your conscious desires, your mind will do its job to protect you and try and keep you safe and actually make it harder to achieve your goals. So who I help is high achieving entrepreneurs. And really what I do is help them unleash new levels of performance aligned with their higher self, which means releasing all the blocks, the fears, the limiting beliefs, the things we've learned, the just anything that's holding us back, slowing us down, getting in our way, past events, past traumas, etc., so that you can live your most aligned, fulfilled life. And it's fun. It is so much fun. So I'm really excited for this conversation. You and I started talking already before, like pivoting and what 2024 looks like for us. And all of that, if we don't have a really grounded mindset, perspective, nervous system, that makes the conversation you and I are having so much harder. Pivoting, changing careers, relationships, doing different offers in your business. All of that comes back down to your inner game, your mind and your nervous system. So that's what I do and who I am in a nutshell.
I
A
love
long,
it.
tangible way.
I
I like to
love
share the
it.
pivot though, because people don't recognize like, oh, you can change, you can do something different, even if you've built something. So yeah, that's who I am, what I do.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
That is pretty fun. I love it. I love how you're using your past experience in order to help so many people now because you're absolutely right. If we don't have our mindset, that internal dialogue in the right place, we're in for an uphill battle. And as you and I were
Yeah.
talking before we hit record, like I'm in the middle of a pivot season right now, and I am in
Yeah.
the messy middle. And being in the messy middle, it's hard. It's hard because our brain is there to keep us safe.
Yeah.
And
Big time.
we were talking too how you start to come at it from a place of scarcity. Like, I know I need to
Hmm.
make this pivot. I know I need to let go in order to grow. But that primal brain kicks back in, that scarcity mindset going, but are we going to be okay? Is it going to happen? Like, is this going to work? Well, yeah. And I
Totally.
think really having the
Yeah.
self awareness of these thought trains that are on repeat in our brain, that's step one. How do you
Yeah.
approach this money mindset and see scarcity really holding so many entrepreneurs
Oh,
back and kind of stuck in place?
it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I want to preface this by saying that the more in quotation successful you become, the more money you make, the more followers you have, the more rampant this work is needed.
Yeah.
If you truly want to build a life on your terms that is fulfilling and isn't filled with stress and pressure and all that stuff, like, you don't have to build a business and have stress and pressure. You can change that. But it really is like how you see things, what you've learned, your past programs, your paradigms, your identity, your beliefs shape everything of who you are and what you do. And so for everyone, it's like it stops people from leaving relationships because of safety and the illusion of safety and control or stability around finances. So we're not financially independent because of how we see certain things, or it stops us from not doing our most aligned business. So for me, leaving an Olympic career where I spent tens of thousands of dollars, years doing a degree, fighting for those things, I almost didn't leave that career to pursue this other career because of scarcity and fear. Well, shoot, this last 3 and 4 years would not have been the same. I wouldn't have met the people, made the impact, discovered who I am. Like, it affects everyone in every aspect. And I love money because of this. It's never actually to do with the money. It's never to do with money,
Right.
like, ever. Our problems are never actually about money. And helping people make more money, yes, it's fun, but that's just the carrot. It's who you become along the way, the healing, the releasing old paradigms. It's the impact you get to make now because of that. So if I can help empower someone to get out of fear or change from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset and really truly see things for what they are, they get to live their most autonomous, freedom, fulfilling life on their terms. People don't, because simply of how the relationship is with money. So money, it's a fun topic, it's a big topic, but it truly, if you think about it, it's involved in every aspect of your life. Paying your bills, paying for your college, buying food. Like, so subconsciously, it is probably the biggest relationship we have in our lives that affects us that we don't even realize. But for a lot of us, if we're honest, hold ourselves back or are settling or are just accepting what is because of this illusion of money. I know it's an illusion. We can open that can of worms if we want to, but it's everything. How you see it, your relationship with it, stops people from scaling, stops people from pivoting, stops people from leaving relationships that aren't aligned with them, stops people from not pursuing their passions. And so shifting that paradigm shifts everyone's life. Then
Yeah.
now the fun byproduct is you make more money. So that's the byproduct, but it's so much more than just money.
It really is. And something you touched upon at the beginning was, how money gives us this illusion of safety and stability. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
true. When you dive
Mm-hmm.
into it and think about it, it is. It's all an illusion of safety and stability. And that's what keeps us stuck. That's what keeps us
Mm-hmm.
playing small. Because I was there too. I went to school for a really long time to have a piece of paper on the wall. I had a license, I took boards, like all of the things. There was a lot of guilt around that. But in
Yeah.
confronting those feelings, unpacking those feelings,
Mm-hmm.
sitting and identifying what are those thoughts and self-limiting beliefs that are holding me back, that are causing me to self-sabotage and stay stuck. That's
Yeah.
really truly the key, the foundational aspect of starting to reframe a relationship with money. Because at the end of the day, money's a tool, right? It's just a means to an end, and we can always create more money. And I think a lot of times we get so focused on what we lack that we lose
Mm-hmm.
sight of what we can gain. What's your take on that?
Totally. Absolutely. Like, if everyone here, you ask the question, where does money come from? If we're going to start going into some sort of big cans of worms here, but people say the bank, my job, and it's like, no. Like, if you really actually recognize money's made up,
Mhm.
money's made up. It's not even real. Like, it was created in a sense of building a currency that was easier to trade and interact with. But if you look at a really big companies or banks or countries, most people are in trillions of dollars of debt. Like, it's just this illusionary, like, made up concept. but it has such a tight hold on everyone's life. And I want to bring up COVID because COVID was such a pivotal awakening for so many people around, oh, my job is safe. This is stability. This paycheck every 2 weeks is safe. No, it's not. So many people in tenure positions and jobs and companies shut down. And people were recognizing this illusion of safety and stability and control with this external made up thing that truly is just made up. Yes, we can say it comes from trees because paper's printed, but if you have $1 million in the bank account, there's not actually $1 million sitting in the bank account. It's a number on a screen. So I love to change people's perception of like what money actually is, which is a tool, which is energy. Everything's energy. And if I could help shift your perspective on that from recognizing, holy crap, it's just made up. It was designed to make things more easier, but it's trillions of dollars being printed every single day. There's an abundance of it everywhere, just like oxygen. Even having kind of that questioning of what money is, where it's coming from, what it's doing, can start to help people recognize, well, hold on a second. If it is truly unlimited and there's abundance everywhere, and it is just made up, and there's not an actual number and a pile of money sitting in your bank account because we got off the gold standard, then what does that mean for the flip side of that? It means there's endless opportunities of abundance to welcome that in, to create different channels of money opportunities, especially as entrepreneurs. And so for me, it's like, why would I ever be in stress or fear or scarcity if I truly know that? Like if I really truly understood that, and I really recognize that I've always figured it out. Maybe I'm in a dip, maybe I'm in a pivot right now, maybe my bank account is showing red. That's okay. Do you know how many other big companies and banks are showing red right now and they're still operating, they're still surviving, they're still moving forward with business? So it's just changing the narrative and conversation of how people see money and really what it is. That's the first step, because you recognize it's not this finite, limited, scarce resource. It's
Yeah.
not at
Yeah.
all. And then you tap into that feeling, you're like, okay. And then the beautiful thing you recognize is you get to come into your power and say, well, okay, what do I have control over? Especially as entrepreneurs, you have the ability to make and create opportunities for money every moment, every day. Now, what's going to come up is your fear and your stories and your relationship with money of like, oh, I can't sell or raise my prices or pivot this, or because it's just, again, very real, they feel very real thoughts, right? But it's going back to this illusion of scarcity, stability, control, which doesn't exist. Like none of that exists. So it becomes very freeing when you actually start to question the paradigm of what really society is, if I'll be honest. And
Yeah.
then from that place, you get to create a new foundation for moving forward.
Yeah, I love that about starting to question, because that was really the pivotal moment for me in time when I started to question all of these thoughts and
Yeah.
started to really contemplate, okay, well, in my journey, I was offered the opportunity to take a furlough, and it was one of those, okay, we're going to figure this out, because you're
Mm-hmm.
absolutely right. We've always figured everything out that has come up the entire time on our journey. You do. That's what you do to survive. You figure things out. You may not know at
Always.
the time how they're going to work out. It's scary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. It's full of uncertainty, but you always figure it out, or you wouldn't be sitting here today. And honestly, I agree with you. Like, I feel like entrepreneurship's the safer option now when it comes to, jobs and security, because now
Mm-hmm.
my possibilities are endless. I'm not
Yeah.
confined to just one role. If something's not working in my business, I have the ability to pivot. And now that
Yeah.
I've done this, the longer that I've been in business, the quicker I want to fail. I want to see what doesn't work out so that I can get to what is working. It's just
Yeah.
an experiment. And when we can detach from that scarcity mindset and realize, okay, I can figure this out. I have figured this out. There's so much proof out there. Then you start to release that fear. And something else that comes up a lot that I'm seeing is, we're not afraid to drop six figures on higher education, right?
Yeah.
But then as an entrepreneur in our business, we get so scared to spend anything. We're afraid to pay ourselves. We're afraid that all this money is just going to disappear. But when you start
Mm-hmm.
to question that, you realize that's the farthest thing from the truth. When
Yeah.
you're showing up every single day, when you're taking a stand, when you have a solution to the problem that someone has, it's just a matter of getting yourself seen in front of the right audience. It's not as
Totally.
complicated as we're making it out to be, but because we are so married to the fear surrounding that
Yeah.
scarcity that we're going to lack this money, we're going to stay right where we're at. We're going to set
Yeah.
ourselves up for failure so quickly and then never see and achieve the success that we truly desire.
Absolutely. Absolutely in every capacity. Like it's if you're listening to this podcast right now and if you truly tapped into what would it feel like to have like unlimited abundance, because that's truly at your the only limitations we have are self-imposed,
Mhm.
and the self-imposed ones are ones that we've learned. So for everyone here, it's like, as you're starting to question, like, well, what even is money? And that can be unnerving for some people because they're like,
Mhm.
it's again, you're used to your paradigm, what you've learned. But we all, our relationship with money right now, how we see money, whether it comes to raising our prices, pivoting businesses, investing in ourselves, whatever that is, which I love that you bring up the college perspective. People drop $500,000 in education, no problem. Doesn't
Yeah.
question it. But then when it comes to you and your business, investing in a coach or a program, which is an investment to just better yourself or your business, which is a investment that you always get a return on. Even if I've made investments myself where they were pricey lessons, I'll say that, but it still taught me something. Oh, okay, I didn't list my tuition. There was 10 grand I should have not done. Great. Moving forward though, that maybe saved me from maybe $100,000 or $100,000 investment, whatever. So there's always contrast and clarity and lessons in any investment you make, but it's an investment in you and your business that is always going to provide a return if you choose to see it that way and if you choose to take advantage of that. But going back to the aspect of pivoting, doing your business on your terms, like when I'm not operating in a place of fear and scarcity, not only from a neuroscience nervous system perspective, right? Because when I go into fear or scarcity or pressure, which every high achiever loves to use, is like, I need the pressure, I need the deadline, I need the go, go, go. Yes. And when you actually realize what's happening to your mind and body around that stress and fear and pressure, you're actually, in very simplistic terms, becoming dumber and losing access to your resources that could help you handle the situation you're in even more effectively with more resources. So for everyone here, when we're looking at making investments or pivoting our business, and I'm going into that physiology of fight or flight, that's really what's happening. My mind is shutting down to get ready to prepare to run away from a perceived threat or attack a perceived threat. So my jaw gets stronger, my legs get stronger. Great. That's awesome. That was designed for archaic times. However, what's happening on the other side is your other system, your parasympathetic system, starts shutting down. Because why would I be worried about sex or food or resting if there's a line in front of me, and the line could be increasing my prices or pivoting my business or saying no to a deal, right? But your mind and body is responding in that way of a perceived threat, and it doesn't know that you making, instead of making 10K months, 100K months is not a threat. It's going to respond like it is a threat because it's changed and it's different. And so when we talk about questioning and our awareness of my relationship with money, we first have to recognize, where did we even begin that relationship in the first place? You learned everything about your identity, what you believe to be true about yourself, your worth, your money, your relationship with money, your business, what's possible. You learned all of that. You weren't born into this world with limitations. You weren't born into this world thinking you weren't worthy or you can't do certain things. As kids, we're like limitless. Oh my God, the unicorn and the volcano. Like it's just endless. And then we get conditioned. And then we watch movies or hear our coaches, our parents, our school, our friends around us. That is shaping your current reality right now. Until you go to question that and challenge that and say, what is my current relationship with money? What do I believe to be true about business or myself? And recognizing that your paradigm, your current reality is just a reflection of your current level of awareness of your identity, your beliefs, your values. That's it. Now, for some people, it's like, of course, you wouldn't consciously choose to feel pressure, stress, and lose access to your intuition or resources, etc. Of course, you wouldn't. But if we've had past events or experiences, or we haven't uncovered the old paradigms, the old beliefs, the old societal programming, moralistic thinking, all this fun stuff, if you haven't gone and intentionally shifted and reprogrammed that, or shifted and challenged that to align with where you're going, you're just going to keep getting the same results over and over and over again, no matter how hard you work. So the reason I love doing this work is we get to recognize, well, what is my current paradigm? An easy way to do that is what you brought up, is where's my dialogue? What are my thoughts? What is my physiology happening if I go to invest, or if I go to raise my price, or if I go to launch a new idea or do something different? If there's a ton of mind drama in physiology, we can reprogram that. We can regulate that so it doesn't happen. So your brain doesn't perceive whatever you're doing as a threat. And then we get to go into the challenge and say, okay, well, what is my current reality? What is my current bank account? If we're going through a pivot, it's different, but what is my current results, aka the printout of my internal mind? And I say, okay, do I like this? Is this useful? Is this effective? My relationships, my health, my bank account, my impact, etc. Do I like this? And if I don't, recognizing that it's just a reflection of your internal things that you have learned, you didn't choose, and you're not stuck. You're not settling. You don't have to suffer and just accept what is. But in order to change that, we have to go within and recognize where is the program that's creating this in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Right there. I mean, it's wild to think about, but it's so true. I love how you touched upon just our primal brain because they have shown literally like the part of our brain, our prefrontal cortex, that is responsible for making those higher level decisions. When we're in a state of fight or flight, like our ability to make decisions diminishes at a very rapid rate. So, as a
Yep.
business owner, taking the time to unpack all of this is absolutely key. And this is something you work with business owners day in and day out with, learning how to reprogram those internal dialogues to bring them up so we can reprogram them so that you don't have these dialogues that you're not even aware of running in the back of your mind, holding you back from the success that you want. So tell us more about how you help entrepreneurs to reprogram their dialogues, essentially.
Totally. Yeah. And I want to say this too, just because when people think of mindset work, it's not just let's think positive, let's do affirmations, let's journal.
Yeah.
It's not any of that stuff. Because if you were doing that stuff, it can help 100%. It assists, yes. However, your subconscious mind stores everything. And so we first start with awareness of like, well, what's our current snapshot at? What's our current paradigm at? How do you feel about money, your relationship with money, et cetera? And just the first start is awareness for yourself. And you can hear your thoughts, especially if you're like 2 a.m, waking up, or you can feel the physiology. So the first part is awareness of recognizing where is my current, which I like to call wealth thermostat. Where's my thermostat? And just like a thermostat on a wall, if it's set to a certain range and cold air gushes in, the thermostat's going to kick in to raise the temperature of the room back to what it is. If a heat wave comes in, the thermostat's going to kick in and put the AC on to bring it back down to a range. If everyone here listening can recognize that you just have a current wealth thermostat that has been pre-programmed for you, we get to see, well, what is that current level and how can we start expanding those edges? How can we start reprogramming to higher levels of income and impact? And I want to go back to what I said in the beginning is people who are making copious amounts of money we think that, oh, once I make a certain amount of money, the money mindset's done. No, in fact, money mindset is even more valuable for you, more effective for you, because as you scale your comfort zone, your impact, your wealth thermostat, your ability to be seen by more people and help more people, you're always edging your comfort zone. And when we go back to what happens to the mind, if there's a perceived threat or I go into fear or physiology such as stress, anxiety, pressure, or I have the mind drama, I want you to start recognizing that in that moment, you are becoming dumber, like I said before, in simplest terms, because now I'm losing access to my intuition, my resourcefulness, my effectiveness in making decisions, my creativity, seeing possibilities and solutions. So anytime we're dipping into that mind drama or fight or flight, that's what's happening. Your mind's thinking of a line. So for those people who have big dreams and are like up to big visions and like, oh, I don't need money mindset, I don't have scarcity mindset. Okay, but do you have the mind drama? Do you have the stress? Do you have the guilt? Because here's what also happens too, is we first think, okay, once I get the money, I'll be happy and safe. No, that never happens. Just let's say it. Everyone who has achieved that doesn't change a feeling inside you. But then once you have it, you're now worried about losing it. Or how do I repeat this result? So those beliefs, the inner dialogue, the physiology is all things, just signs showing you mirrors of where there's healing work to be done. So subconsciously programming, maybe going back to past events, not reliving them, but going back to them to release them, to help show your brain, hey, that thing that happened when you're 3 years old, it's not happening anymore. So we can release that, reprogram that. So it's not causing energy to go towards that. So the awareness is a first step, recognizing what it really is, which is not just think positive, do affirmations. It's not that. It's going in and actually rewiring your mind of how it's perceiving past events or threats, past memories that aren't serving you. It's also regulating your nervous system and your subconscious mind to your conscious desires so that as you scale, step on bigger stages, make more money, your brain is not seeing that as a threat. and now taking all the resources that are going to help you be your most effective resourceful and going into running away from a lion, but instead staying in that present moment in your power as your most effective self. Yeah, so it's a combination of awareness, teaching, coaching, mentoring, subconscious reprogramming. I love to do what's called RRT, rapid resolution therapy, reframes and shifting around that. So it's really just diving into where are you at right now? Where do you want to be? If there's resistance or fear or mind drama around that, great, let's shift and reprogram that. That might be doing some past stuff. That might not be. That might be doing some future stuff. But really, it's to help you be your most effective self and keeping access to all of your resources in the times of where you might perceive as pressure or stress or anger or fear, in those times of maybe pivoting or the dips in your bank account. Because again, back to what we first said, all that's just an illusion. Like it's just an illusion. Yeah. However, the illusion and the invisible thoughts are running your current world. So if it's working for you, great. If it's not, knowing that as you change, your brain sees that as a perceived threat. Well, guess what? Changing from 10K months to 50K months is a change. Your brain sees it as a lion. It's not moralistic. It doesn't know it's a good or bad thing. It just says, whoa, this is different. It's a change. So if I'm having mind drama and nervous system physiology around that, I get to shift and change that so it doesn't see it as that and work against me and actually helping work with me and helping assist me.
Oh my gosh.
That's a lot of that. That's a big tangent. Sorry, we had to go through that.
No, I love it though, because it makes so much sense. And all of this is just so key as a business owner that we have these conversations, that we talk about this, that we bring this to the forefront, because a lot of times if we're not talking about this, we think that there's something wrong with us. We feel like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. When no, that's the farthest thing from the truth. It's that internal dialogue. It's that illusion of money, like you talked about, that's holding us back. So by working on your money mindset, you truly, truly have the opportunity here to open so many doors, opportunities to really step in and embody the person that you're meant to be. Danya, this was awesome. How can we get into your world, learn more about you, tell us about your podcast and all of the incredible things that you're doing?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at Danya Douglas Hunt, and I post a lot of videos, a lot of reframes there. And then there's a link in my bio which you can access to different resources, different freebies. The podcast is there too. Podcast is called Play Bigger with Danya, which you came on and shared your beautiful wisdom, which is awesome. And really just the idea is to help you release anything that's not serving you and help you no longer suffer or settle in your life and truly live life on your terms in not only just a successful way, however you define that, but in a fulfilling way. Like, yes, create the impact, the results you want, but fulfilled without the stress, the pressure, the grind, the hustle, the lack of fulfillment or alignment. It's just helping you live life on fire on your terms. So yeah, Instagram is where I'm most active. You can find me on other platforms like TikTok too, but mostly on Instagram. That's where I am.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to pour into our listeners today.
Love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And until next time, embody your inner CEO. Are you loving what you're hearing? Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.